Christina Blanchard, S0039249. It's my presentation. Have you ever sat in a meeting thinking to yourself, why am I here? This is a waste of my time. Chances are you have. And I'm here today to help you uncover the secrets to running effective business communication meetings. I'm actually a Bachelor of Business graduate majoring in management, and I'm currently studying my MBA. I'm also an MSIPS qualified, and I've run many sessions across Queensland Rail, meetings, training sessions, and so forth. I've sat in meetings that have been not so good, and I've actually sat in a lot that are good, so I've got quite a lot of experience. Today I'm here to talk about two different areas, so the benefits and costs of meetings and how to run effective meetings. There are many benefits to running effective meetings and to running meetings in general. So communication is a big one. Obviously it's a good way to communicate with your stakeholders, with your peers, with managers. You gain a lot of new ideas from running meetings. So getting in a room compared to on email, you don't sort of seem to get that, the grasp of what everyone's thinking. And you also learn a lot from a lot of people in the room as well. It also helps build relationships, so you'll find at the start of a meeting, at the end of meetings, there's usually that downtime where people sort of have a chat about their weekend, so that's a good way to get to know people as well. Meetings are actually great for decision making, resolving any conflicts or issues, and making actions, so going forward. There's three main key elements to successful meetings. So you've got the planning up front, you've got taking control of the meeting, so that's the actual meeting itself, and reviewing and following up at the end. All are as important as each other. The planning, I feel, is probably the most important part of running a meeting. So first you need to actually decide, is a meeting even necessary? Do you need to have one? Or could you just give them a call or send it a group email? Then you need to actually work out, what is your purpose of running the meeting? Are what are the objectives? Do you have deliverables that you need to achieve? So you need to work that out before you actually book a meeting and go ahead. You also need to work out who are the participants that you need to have in your meeting. So make sure you've got the people that can actually make the decisions, not just people that have to go, oh, okay, I've got to check with my manager or check with this person. You want to get people that can make decisions there and then. Make sure you've got an agenda. What are you actually going to discuss? What's start and finish time? So are you going to need an hour, 2 hours? Sometimes it might be easier just to break it down into segments. So you need 5 minutes for this, half an hour to actually talk about what you're wanting, and 20 minutes to make a decision. Meetings don't have to go for exactly half an hour, and so forth. They can be 20 minutes if need be. The shorter the better. And I'll discuss that a bit more later on. The communication to the invitees, that's very important. So make sure that it is, if possible, especially within Queensland Rail, that you're doing it via Outlook and inviting everyone through there. Even if they're external stakeholders, chances are they use Outlook as well. And make sure you organise your room and any equipment that you need. So if you need a projector as such, make sure you book a room that has a projector, and make sure that you do book a room that suits the amount of number of people. So you won't book a room for 6 people if you've got 20. Queensland Rail has a large variety of meeting rooms, so just check into those, and also check beforehand as well. Sometimes you can book a meeting room and it'll have a computer, for example, and you'll get there and it won't be there, so make sure you're there plenty of time. Queensland Rail actually has an agenda template, so you can certainly use that one, mould it to suit what you need. Taking control and running the meetings. This is a very important part. So when you go into the meeting room, thank your people for attending, thank them for their time, because that is important that they have come using their own time. Start on time and finish on time. There's nothing worse than a meeting running over than you're running late to your next meeting. Set your priorities, your objectives, and the agenda for the meeting up front. Make sure it's clear, and set out the times if you do have times. Make sure you follow that agenda as well, don't sort of go off on a tangent. Encourage everyone in the room to input their feedback, their ideas, and make sure they're all included. So if someone's sort of sitting back and not saying anything, chances are they probably do have something to say, but they need to be encouraged to do so. So, it's as simple as saying, oh, what do you think, John? What do you think, Debbie? Something like that. Make sure everything stays on track. So yes, people are going to go off on a tangent, tell war stories and so forth. Just bring them back in and say, look, I appreciate that. We are today discussing this topic and we need to come to an agreement on whatever it may be. Have someone taking minutes. It's probably not best to do it yourself, and sometimes it's good to have someone that does know a bit about the subject, because you can sometimes go into a meeting and you're talking very specific. There might be a few, quite a bit of information that might be very specific and I guess related to a topic, and if you've got someone in the room that doesn't understand, it might be a bit hard for them to take minutes. If you've got anything that you can't agree on, or a question that comes up, put it on your parking lot. And make sure at the end you're summarising your decisions, your actions and your way forward. As soon as possible after the meeting, write up your meeting minutes, review them and then send them out to everyone. That's very important, so that people that aren't at the meeting know exactly what happened and what decisions were made. Make sure any decisions that were made, and if there are any actions that follow, make sure they're followed up and that people know what they need to do, and give them a deadline to do that as well. And any unfinished business or any parking lot things, follow up on those and make sure they're on the agenda for the next meeting if you're having one. Queensland Rail has a meeting minutes template, so certainly use that. As I said before, change that to suit your requirements. And we've got 6 tips to running effective meetings. So the most important is planning, so working out what your objectives are, working out your agenda, your room, all those sorts of things. Kick-off is important, setting the tone, so you're making sure that people in the room are actually encouraged to put their ideas forth to make decisions, and not, if you set the tone and you're not really sure as to what you want to achieve, chances are everyone's going to be the same in the room. Focus, so keeping the meeting on track. That's very important. You don't want everyone going from tangent start talking about something totally unrelated, because you need to come to a decision and actually make use of your time. The conclusion, very important that you summarise what was discussed in the meeting and where you're actually heading from here, and following up, so your minutes, your actions and decisions, so making sure that everything that you discussed is actually going forward. You don't want to go into your next meeting thinking, okay, well, we didn't actually do that, and it was meant to be done by this meeting. So you want to kind of make sure that's happening as you go. Now, just before I jump into any questions, I think we have missed a slide. So I forgot to touch on the cost of meetings. So the cost of meetings is very important. Probably you haven't ever thought about it, but each person, say you're on $40 an hour, if you've got 10 people in the room, for an hour, that's $400 plus the cost of the room, plus your resources, the time to and from the meeting. So you're looking at around, $500. If you've got catering, that's even more. So you need to make sure that at the end of the meeting, you're actually getting that dollars out of the meeting. If you walk away thinking, well, we achieved nothing, you're actually wasting resources for the company. And finally, any questions? No? Thank you.